Welcome to the debut podcast of Chalk Talk at Carlo's Pizza, presented by Max Sports Consulting. A little different take on high school football we're going to have for you this summer, and we've got some special guests. We've got a great opening show tonight. We've got the Northview Wildcats along with head coach Ryan Oshnock. Then later on, the Kennewick Hills Knights will join us right now, but we are here at Carlo's Pizza, 3150 Plainfield, corner of Plainfield and I-96. Great new owners, new location. We're going to tell you a little bit more about it as we get through the show, but they've got fresh hand-tossed pizza, homemade subs and wings daily. They've got great catering options as well, dine-in, carry-out, delivery available. They've got it all here at Carlo's, and they're our host for this podcast. But we're going to be talking off-season high school football with our guests, and as we said, we're starting out with the Northview Wildcats and being joined by Ryan Oshnock, the fifth-year head coach at Northview High School, and he's certainly been a mainstay in the West Michigan scene, 12th year as a head coach overall. He was at Forest Hills Northern and West Ottawa before taking the head reins at Northview. And Coach, great to have you here in the summer. I know for a lot of folks, they're not thinking high school football, but you guys are about ready to get at it.
Yeah, we certainly are, Rick. And I just want to, let you and everybody else know how big of a fan I am of you. And I was telling you before the show here, I was trying to think of my first Rick Berkey experience, right? And you probably don't even remember this, but you coined a nickname, and it really, quite honestly, it changed my life as a kid. So it was in 1993. You named a famous running back Thrillin'. If you remember this, in 1993, here in town. Do you remember who you nicknamed Thrillin'?
Thrillin' Dylan?
Thrillin' Dylan Karchevsky. So as a kid, this is a true story. I'm 9 years old. You had coined that nickname. I believe you coined that nickname, at least I was told you did.
I'll take credit for it.
You should take credit for it. So as a 9-year-old, I remember following the sports page in the Grand Rapids Press, and because of you coining that nickname, I knew in 1993 that I needed to get the Oxford versus East Grand Rapids finals game on tape. You remember back in the day when they had VHS tapes?
Yes.
And you could order them from the state finals.
Yes.
Right? I only ordered 2 in my entire life, and that's all I ever wanted for Christmas, because you nicknamed this Thrillin' Dylan Karchevsky from East Grand Rapids against Oxford, right?
Yes.
And then the next one, to bring this thing full circle, I ordered the 1999 Farmington Hills Harrison versus Grand Rapids Creston game on VHS. Those are the only 2 VHSs I own anymore.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
You still have a VHS machine?
I do not, no, but I think at the library I can still rent one, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
So anyway, that's why I got them, and I remember that. And you were attached to all those teams right there.
That's great. Coach, you were one of the great feel-good stories in all of, not just West Michigan football, but high school football across the state of Michigan, when the Wildcats went on and ripped off a perfect 9-0 regular season, their first since 1970. The legendary 1970 team that you heard so much about throughout the season last year, and as they continue to do it. And it's one of those special stories that, yeah, it's a football story, but in the Northview and North Grand Rapids community, it became much more than just a football story.
For sure. And I think when you think about, some of the great teams, the 1970 team, obviously, Mordyke at quarterback, right? I mean, he was a guy, and I think if we looked at our team from last year, it really started with our third-year quarterback, Armand, Mr. Irving, right? And I think when you look at these classic teams, I mean, they've got a common denominator, right? They play great defense, right? They're really good up front, and then they've got a quarterback that can really kind of steer the ship and, get first downs when you need them, score when you need them. And, kind of reflecting back on that, you think about some of the great, like, again, in 70, great quarterback. 2024, great quarterback. And we'll see what the story of the season is going to be, this year coming up here in West Michigan. But, I think those are the common denominators. So we don't really necessarily think of it as like maybe, a feel-good story or anything. We just feel like the stars align when you play good defense, when you're good up front, and you got a guy who can really kind of steer the ship on offense. I think you got a shot to be pretty good.
And it was neat as the season went on, momentum game, the crowds got bigger and bigger and bigger, and you were selling out by the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And it was so neat to see and read about the alumni from 20, 30, 40 and more years ago coming back to games that hadn't been to games in decades.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, having good football teams on the northeast side of Grand Rapids, I think is really special, right? I mean, if you probably remember the 99 year when Creston was really, really good and kind of came, maybe not necessarily out of nowhere, kind of really reminded me of that 24 Northview team.
Yes.
And not necessarily coming out of nowhere, but all of a sudden that momentum, that ball gets rolling downhill and people start to hear about it, right? I mean, think about the 99 team, right? You think about Carlton Brewster. People had to come.
I remember that team, but I don't remember the coach. Who was the coach of that team?
I think the owner of this establishment now, right?
That's right. I knew that was somewhere in there.
But seriously, when you think about it, though, you think about, you start hearing about Carlton Brewster. At least I, as a kid, I was in high school. I was like, Carlton. I got to see this guy play. Right, I got to see this guy. And I think there was some local talk of like, oh, I hear Armand Irving. I hear some of these other guys. I hear the Easton Hannidans. I hear these names. Like, I need to come and see these guys play. Is this running back as good as advertised? Will Snore and Jalen Gant, are they as good as advertised? I think people start hearing about it. And yeah, in the YouTube era and the huddle era, you get the opportunity to see some of that film, but to see things in person is still super, super special. And I think we kind of had that, maybe aura or mystique around us where people were like, I've got to see those guys in person, see how good they really are.
Back to your nickname comment, Coach. I gave one to Carlton Brewster, too. You may not remember that one. It didn't probably take off as well as the other one. But
what was it?
Carlton, the Mad Rooster Brewster.
Oh, the Mad Rooster Brewster.
Sparky remembers it.
Okay,
Yeah.
the Mad Rooster Brewster.
All right, Coach. But as great as that was, it was last year.
For sure.
And now your sights are set ahead. What are the things you need to focus on as a team as far as last year being in the past? And what can you carry over, and what do you want to leave behind and start fresh and new?
Right, and I think, a lot of times when you talk, we talked a lot about leaving your legacy or leaving your mark here in Grand Rapids, right? And your legacy, I mean, we think like, September is a great month, right? But October and November are where your legacy is cemented, right? And we felt like, we played obviously really well in the month of September and October, right? But we didn't necessarily get our opportunity to go play into November like we wanted to. We lost to a very good Byron Center team. And I think our guys took that in the offseason and said, you know what, we need to continue to get better, right? We talk about, an upward trajectory of where we want to go, right? We want to be like that airplane that's just taking off and getting better and better and better as time continues to go on. So we feel like if we can win today, if we can win tomorrow, we can win Wednesday, we can win Thursday, whatever the day of the week might be, if we're continuing to get better and better, we feel really good about our chances. And I think, we can't even necessarily compare last year's team to this year's team because, number one, our schedule is different, right? We open up, not against Chelsea anymore, but we open up against Grand Rapids West Catholic. And
oh yeah, that's just a walk in the park against West Catholic, perennials powerhouse.
Yeah, perennial powerhouse. And if you want to be good in Grand Rapids, I think you've got to try to win the city of Grand Rapids, right? You've got to be able to win. You got to win the big games against these local teams. And we had a couple nice victories last year, but Grand Rapids West Catholic they present a huge number of issues for us, right? And so, I mean, our kids have been excited about the game, but focused on that game because it's an unbelievable program, and they're really well coached, and they're going to be very good this year.
And then week 2, you play Vicksburg. Have you played Vicksburg? I don't recall Northview playing Vicksburg before.
No, we've never played Vicksburg before, and they feel like they've got a team that's coming back that's senior laden, and they return a bunch of starters, and they feel really good. So, I mean, that's just a huge difference between last year and this year, between Chelsea and then Wyoming, and this year it's West Catholic.
You brought a couple players with you we're going to get to in just a second. Tell us just briefly a little about them. Senior Julian Charity and junior Braylon Jefferson.
Yeah. Julian was a returning starter for us this past year. He played corner. This year he played corner again. He's one of our captains. He's definitely the captain on the defensive side of the ball. His dad is actually one of our assistant coaches. And if you remember,
who I
Dion
called
Charity.
in high school.
Yes, probably. Yes.
Did he go to Kellogg'sville?
He's a Kellogg'sville guy. Yeah, absolutely.
I used to say about him, charity begins at home, but he's not too bad on the road either.
That's a pretty good one. See, you got all the sayings here. Yeah. Yeah, so Julian, he's a tall, long, athletic corner. We're going to really rely on his leadership on our defense. And then we'll actually, we got some packages where he's going to play a little bit for us on the offensive side of the ball at receiver as well. But we feel pretty good that, we're going to start 22 different guys on offense and defense, and we're able to do that. We think that really helps us practice-wise. But obviously, we do have dudes that do play on both sides of the ball. So he's going to be a guy that we're relying on defense. And then we've got a new starting quarterback this year, and it's going to be Braylon Jefferson. So we're expecting a lot out of him. There's, no matter where you play, it doesn't matter if you're playing here at Northview, or you're the quarterback at Rockford, or you're the quarterback at Cedar Springs or Sparta or Kennewood Hills. When you're the quarterback, fairly or unfairly, you have a lot of spotlight on you. And so there's going to be a lot of, not necessarily pressure to perform, but, it's, things are going to go as the quarterback goes offensively, right? You can be really good up front, but there's a trigger guy that's going to touch the ball every single play, and he's going to be that guy for us.
That's the nature of the beast.
It is. Sure is.
Well, Coach, we look forward to that and look forward to another big season from the Wildcats, and we enjoy visiting with you, and we'll certainly look forward for a fantastic season for the Cats this year.
Well, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Always an honor to be in your presence.
All right, Coach. All right, Ryan Oshnock from Northview High School. We're going to take a little quick time out, and then we're going to come back and visit with the Northview Wildcats players, Braylon Jefferson and Julian Charity. Stay with us. You are watching and listening our opening podcast of Chalk Talk at Carlo's Pizza, presented by Max Sports Consulting, 3150 Plainfield, right at the corner of Plainfield and I-96. We roll on with the Chalk Talk at Carlo's Pizza, presented by Max Sports Consulting, and got a question for you, especially you parents out there with high school athletes. Do you need help understanding the recruiting process? Well, Max Sports Consulting understands how confusing it can be if you or your son are trying to navigate the football recruiting and transfer portal processes. Whether it's a high school or college student athlete, Max Sports Consulting can evaluate your talent and help secure opportunities to get you to the next level. Go to macsportsconsulting.com. That's macsportsconsulting.com, M-A-C. See how their team of highly knowledgeable and experienced collegiate sports experts can help you gain access to valuable resources and plan a strategy. They visit macsportsconsulting.com. That's M-A-C sportsconsulting.com. We're rolling on talking high school football in the off season here on a July day as we record this podcast. We're at Carlo's Pizza, as we said, at 3150 Plainfield Northwest, talking with the Northview Wildcats. Boy, visiting with head coach Ryan Oshnock, and now we brought a couple of his players in, starting out with senior defensive back Julian Charity. Julian, great to have you here. We talked with Coach a little bit. I want to talk about your reflection on how magical that year last year was for you, the team, and the whole Northview community.
Oh man, it was great. So we had 16 plus seniors that were there. They're gone now, but it's gonna be a tough one coming back from that. But everyone, the whole organization, all the families, they really supported us and loved us throughout the season. It was truly a magical season for me and through everyone. Since 1970 was the last time we won conference and went 9-0. So.
What was it like when, for the first time, and you don't hear this very often, you were selling out games by the end of the season. You don't have high school football sellouts, but you were having it. What was that like?
It was great. There was so many people there. It actually helped me move onto, because I play basketball as well. It moved on to basketball because I got nervous during games, and it helped me move on because games were packed, and it helped me compose my nervousness and just overall stress level.
So that certainly became a positive for you with that. And did you have any experience of friends or family friends that came back to the Northview area for the first time in 20, 30, 40 years, or from way back in the past?
Families
that you knew of, that started coming to games that hadn't been to a game.
Oh yeah, actually my family, my aunts and uncles came out the Byron Center game where we lost, but they supported me. It was great to hear from them because I haven't heard from them in a while.
Julian, coaches, Coach kind of alluded to it. You're going to hear more of it as once you start practicing with the team and that. But how do you leave it all in the past? It was great, but that's not going to get you a single yard on offense or get you a single tackle on defense this year because that was in the past. How do you leave it behind and focus on 2025 now?
See, we just gotta move on because we have a lot of struggling sophomores, juniors coming up this season. We have to focus on them truly because if we don't leave it in the past and not focus on the future, then we're not going to win big games this season. And we need to do that in order to be 9-0 or whatever record we're going to have this season.
Julian, you're one of the leaders on this team. What are the things that you need to show as a leader to the underclassmen? Not only like Braylon, but maybe you got guys who are playing on the varsity for the first time this year.
So I have big experience in certain games and certain players that are on offense. I can help each of our DBs and each of our defensive backs, whatever, to certain players that are big, strong, who do this, do whatever. They don't know certain techniques and defensive strategies that I do, and I can help them with that.
And what about off the field? What can you show them?
Mostly it's all about love and connection and supporting each one of our players. Because if we don't have connection on, say, going home and hanging out with them, then our team's not going to be good.
All right, and finally, Julian, you're a senior. You don't know where you're going to school yet next year, but have you thinking about what you'd like to take academically wherever you end up going to school?
Academically, I was looking into business, but I'm really open to anything right now. I'm looking in towards a lot of different stuff, maybe something with animals, maybe a marine biology thing. I don't really know for sure yet.
Well, you got plenty of time to decide. We'll certainly look for big things for you, Julian, this year with Northview's Wildcats. Let's pass the microphone over to your teammate here, Braylon Jefferson, the new quarterback Coach Oshnock alluded to, going to be a quarterback this year. And let's ask you kind of that same thing to start out, Braylon, from a leadership standpoint. What do upperclassmen like Julian, what do they show you that helps you on the field?
So for me, with just transferring in here from Hudsonville for this upcoming season, I mean, Jack Van Proyen and people like him and Julian, everybody else, they've been helping me a lot, with really everything, getting comfortable with the coaches, helping with my play calls, everything, seeing the field in a different way that I didn't see it before. And then outside of football, I mean, I see them 3 or 4 nights a week, hanging out, going swimming, everything. So I feel like they've helped out a lot with just blending in and meshing for everybody.
What about the challenges of just blending into a new school? I mean, you're not only going to have new teammates, you're going to have new classmates. That's got to be an adjustment for you.
Yeah, so I started in March, and I mean, the first week or two, it was pretty rough. I mean, I didn't really know all my teachers' names. I obviously didn't know my classmates, but Julian and all of my teammates, they helped me a lot, and they really helped me build connections with them in football, obviously, but outside of football, now I have lifelong friends. So they really did help me mesh by supporting me and really taking me in. You know what I mean?
From a skill set, Braylon, tell us one area that you feel that you really do pretty well right now, and another area that you say, I know I've got to get better in this area.
Yeah, so one area I feel like I have really well right now is I think I have a very strong arm, and I feel like I have very high confidence in my abilities of what I can do with my arm and even with my legs. And something I could really work on. I think I can work on timing a little bit. I feel like sometimes I can be a quarter second or a half second slow, and I feel like that can sometimes throw off the timing for not just me, but everybody that's surrounding me. So that's just something I have to clean up.
What are you doing in the off season this summer, for conditioning so that when you do start practice pretty soon, you're in decent shape?
Yeah. So me and my dad have a checklist right now for stuff that I have to do every day. And it consists of, running a couple miles, stretching, really doing everything to prepare my body. And outside of that, I mean, I'm training 4 to 5 days a week. I'm going to as many camps as I can just to get my name out there. And I'm doing everything that's best of my ability. And I'm trying to keep everything 100% foot on the gas all the time.
All right, well, we look for good things from you as Braylon as well as Julian and the Wildcats this year. Best of luck to you guys. Thanks for stopping by to our opening Chalk Talk show here. And we're going to take a little time out, come back and tell you a little bit more. Still got more football to talk a little bit later. We're going to come back and visit and learn a little bit more about our sponsor. Stay with us. We roll on with the Chalk Talk at Carlo's Pizza, presented by Max Sports Consulting, our new home here. And Christy McEwen, one of the owners here at Carlo's Pizza and also of Max Sports Consulting, joins us right now. First, let's talk about this wonderful facility, exciting new venture for you and Sparky in the pizza business. Where did that come from? And it's got to be an exciting time for you guys.
It's super exciting. So Sparky's always talked about having a sports bar with pizza and wings, keeping the menu simple and super yummy. I am actually Italian, so my family in Oklahoma has several Italian restaurants, so the pizza industry wasn't new to me. I just didn't think we were going to be here so quickly.
All right, well, you got a neat place here. It's a great setup to dine in. We're in the dining area here. A great place to come, not only not come for lunch, but you got a lunch buffet here.
We do. We have a lunch buffet every weekday with fresh pizza. We rotate the different styles of pizza, and then the fresh salad bar. So $15, all you can eat from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. each weekday. And
you've got, of course, you're with DoorDash, and great chance to get takeout or delivery available. And what would you like to tell people about this place as far as who have not tried Carlo's Pizza before?
We have the best hand-tossed brick oven pizza, I would say, in Grand Rapids. We load the pizzas with toppings. There's lots of unique flavors that we rotate seasonally. Right now we have a summer barbecue pizza that's been a big hit with some brisket and smoked sausage and drizzled in barbecue sauce that's super unique but yummy.
Well, you've got a guy who's got his doctorate in pizza, Richard, back in the kitchen.
That's right.
He's brilliant.
Richard's amazing. Richard comes up with all the new concepts, and luckily Sparky and I get to test them out. But yeah, he's great.
All right, this is presented by Max Sports Consulting, which you and Sparky are certainly formed as well. And let's talk a little bit about why you created Max Sports Consulting. Where was the need you thought that was there to be met?
So Sparky, of course, has his sports background as a head football coach. I actually graduated from the University of Oklahoma with my master's in sports management, and prior to coming to Grand Rapids, spent 12 years working in the Arena Football League. But as we've worked together through collegiate recruiting of student athletes, we've seen the need for questions to be answered for parents. They're overwhelmed by the process as a whole, whether it's just recruiting in general. Where should I send my student athlete to summer camp so they're going to get the most exposure? Do they need some specialty training for speed and agility and footwork? And then now I've entered the NCAA Eligibility Center. What's my next step? How do I apply for financial aid? So just in those conversations that we've overheard with parents and the need for more questions to be answered and the ever-changing landscape of the NCAA, we saw that there was a need that we could fulfill with our sport management backgrounds.
When you meet with parents, what are a couple of the most common questions or areas of confusion? Because as you said, it is a whole new world out there. What are you hearing frequently from parents that they need help with?
The most common question we get is, how do I contact the right person for my student athlete? So whether that's an assistant coach or the head coach, how do I make that contact? Is it through Twitter? Is it through email? Do I just send a highlight film? That's a common question that we get from the start, is just where do we start? And then the other question is just the lack of knowledge that you need to enroll with the NCAA Eligibility Center and start to put your transcripts in there. You can do it as early as a freshman and start working your way through and checking the boxes that you're taking all the core classes that you need and meeting all the eligibility requirements so that when you do graduate, you can jump right into that collegiate level.
Is there an age in high school that you think Max Sports Consulting is geared towards, or should they start working with you how early on in high school? Wait till they're a senior, sophomore, junior? What do you
Our preference is to start with freshmen, but if you're already a sophomore, junior, or senior, we welcome you to come on board. We can help at any stage in your high school career. We can also help you as a college student athlete if you're looking to jump into the transfer portal and learn more about your options there or NIL questions that you might have along the way.
And that's a whole nother issue. We could talk for another 20 minutes about the transfer portal. But again, Max Sports Consulting can help you with these important questions. So if you're a parent with an athlete, please contact them. Go to macsportsconsulting.com. That's macsportsconsulting.com. And Christy, we look forward to doing more shows here at Carlo's. And best of luck with Mac Sports.
Thank you so much.
And that wraps up our opening podcast edition of Chalk Talk at Carlo's Pizza, presented by Mac Sports Consulting here. We want to thank the Northview Wildcats head coach Ryan Oshnock and players Braylon Jefferson and Julian Charity for their fine contributions to the show. Also Christy McEwen, of course, telling us a little bit more about the businesses, where we're at here, and Mac Sports Consulting, which is our underwriting sponsor of this podcast. We've got more shows coming up for you this summer, so get ready. Next week, Kenowa Hills Knights and Coach Don Fellows and players and some other special guests will also be joining us, so stay with us. We keep an eye on it. We'll bring high school football, because even though we're a little ways away from getting onto the field and going at each other on the field, it's not too early to talk high school football. We want to do that all year round and all summer long, as long as we can. That'll wrap it up. So till next time, Rick Berkey saying thanks for joining us once again from Chalk Talk at Carlo's Pizza, presented by Mac Sports Consulting.